very much. Do you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, thank you. I will share my presentation now. I hope that you see my presentation. Hello, I'm very glad that today I could present my research interests. My current project is concentrated on epigraphical research in Roman town Mustis in Tunisia, and it is the result of the scientific cooperation with the Tunisian National Heritage Institute and the Polish Center of Mediterranean Archaeology and Institute of Archaeology of University of Warsaw. Since 2019, I am a member of the Tunisian-Polish Archaeological Mission. I would like to add that at the beginning of last month, I conducted my epigraphical survey in Mustis for 2 weeks. So my today presentation is updated. Within the project, together with Professor Mohamed Abid from the University of Manouba in Tunis, we are preparing catalogs of Latin inscriptions from Mustis. So it is the main aim of our work, of our project. First, I would like to give you some basic information about the history of Mustis and Latin epigraphy in general, as one of the auxiliary sciences of history. Then I would like to show you a few interesting Latin inscriptions from Mustis, which, like papyri in Egypt, are the main source of knowledge about the life of inhabitants of Roman cities in social, economic, religious, and administrative aspects. First, I would like to say about location of Mustis. Where is Mustis? Mustis lies about 124 kilometers to the southwest of the Tunisian capital, Tunis, near the modern town of El Krib in the Syriana Governorate. It is only 12 kilometers from Dugga, and one of the largest Roman sites in the province, inscribed on the World Heritage List, UNESCO. Mustis, as you can see in the next slide, Mustis is located in the highly urbanized region of the Roman province Africa Proconsularis, on the main route leading from Carthage to Teveste in today's Algeria. Thanks to its geographical location on a very important trade route and the surrounding fertile land where grain, olives, and wines were cultivated, the town and its inhabitants got rich very quickly in the early Roman Empire, from the 1st to the 3rd century AD. In the next slide, you can see the ancient Roman shops, boutique, which are localized near the main street in the town. Mustis has not only Roman, but also Numidian history, which is still very mysterious. In the end of the 2nd century BC, veterans of the great commander, Roman commander Gaius Marius, settled this town down during the reign of the Emperor Tiberius. In the beginning of the 1st century, Mustis was granted the status of Roman municipium. The early Roman Empire is the most significant period of economic development of the entire North Roman Africa, as well as of Mustis. The history of the town and the region in the late antiquity, when it was a headquarter of Christian bishop, about one of them, Felicianus, St. Augustine wrote, and in Muslim time is virtually unknown, and its reconstruction is fragmentary and hypothetical only. In the next slide, you can see Google map of the archaeological site of Mustis. This map perfectly shows that the current archaeological site contains 2 hectares. 2 hectares. But the last geophysical research allows us to assume that the town has an additional over 30 hectares, over 50 hectares. The preserved buildings include temples of Pluto, Apollo, and Ceres, 2 honorific arcs, Roman baths, Byzantine citadel, Christian basilica, a town square, a commercial street, which you saw on the photo, and at least 2 big Roman houses. The function of numerous over-architectural structures has not yet been determined because Mustis, in opposite to, for example, Dugga or Carthage, was not excavated a lot. Very limited field works were conducted on the side by the French in the 30s, 60s, and 70s in the 20th century. I don't have a time to give a full lecture about Latin epigraphy, Roman epigraphy, but I would like to give you a brilliant example which shows the big potential of this auxiliary science of history. Who has not heard of Suetonius, the imperial biographer? His scholarly and exciting lives of Caesars, from Julius Caesar to Domitian have influenced later Roman writers from the Middle Ages. Yes, like many of Roman authors, we know so well the literature they wrote, but we don't know more about their life. And what is interesting, in 1952, 2 eminent scholars, Flom and Erwan Marek, published a new inscription from Hippory, Regius in Algeria. And this inscription was exciting, yes, was very interesting. Why? Because it gave details of Suetonius' life, yes. And in next slide, you can see this inscription. And as you can see, this inscription was badly damaged, yes. Of the original plaque, just 16 fragments survived. After a long discussion, Flom and Marek restored the text as follows. You can read this text from this slide. Yes, we don't have a time to give a full text, but see, we have new posts, new offices of Suetonius. Yes, we have a studis, a bibliothecis, a epistulis imperatoris Traiani Hadriani Augusti. So we have new information about his career, about his, in Latin, cursus honorum. Okay, this inscription shows us very well how important inscriptions on studies in antiquity are. Several areas in Roman civilization are known almost entirely through inscriptions. The development and use of Roman personal names, the oldest phases of Latin language, the organization of Roman army, of Rome provincial towns, and so on. So inscriptions, the text carved, or in some special cases painted on stone or on some other hard, durable, inorganic material, are a vast source material that complements in a very important manner the information obtained from other sources. Inscriptions are important for anyone interested in the Roman world, in the Roman culture, whether they regard themselves as literary scholars, historians, archaeologists, anthropologists, or army specialists. The discipline that studies inscription written in Latin is called Latin, yes, from the Greek word epigraphein, to write on, to write over. The principal task of Latin epigraphy remains to collect, decipher, edit, and publish Latin inscriptions. The next slide, I would like to say about the of Latin inscriptions from the Roman Empire. Yes, because the sheer number of inscriptions is enormous, despite the fact that the survival rate of the Latin inscription is estimated as mere as 5%. 5% at best. Over 300,000 Latin inscriptions have been found. And every year, new discoveries, especially from Africa Proconsularis, from African provinces, increase the number by hundreds. From Roman provinces, as you can see in the slide, we know over 50,000 published Latin inscriptions. And what is interesting, the great majority of them date from the imperial period, especially from the second and the beginning of the 3rd century. It was the time of epigraphic boom in the whole Roman Empire. Okay, so now I would like to show you next slide, and it is our workshop. It is the ancient citadel, lapidarium, modern lapidarium, which we have, in which we inventoried a lot of Latin Roman inscriptions. Yes, and in the next slide you can see me and Professor Mohammed Abid, and we have in the citadel, as you can see, we have Roman stele, we have Roman funerary inscriptions. Yes, the most popular category of inscriptions. And now I would like to tell you about categories of inscriptions. But first, I would like to tell you about the inscriptions from Mustis. Yes, because you know, from Mustis, over 90 inscriptions were published. 90. Next, about 400 are waiting for publication. Together with Professor Mohammed Abid, since 2019, we inventoried 302 Latin inscriptions, totally or fragmentary preserved, of course. Yes. And almost all the inventoried inscriptions are unpublished and come from the lapidarium, which you see in the slide. Yes. So now I would like to say about types of inscriptions. Yes. The difference between public and private inscriptions is the most significant, but we can offer the more detailed distinction on funerary, honorary, building inscriptions, milestone, border stones, inscriptions on portable objects like instrumenta domestica. The most famous are from in Mustis. We don't have the examples of instrumenta domestica. Yes. But while honorific inscriptions comprise the most prestigious category of Roman inscriptions, epitaphs, funerary inscriptions, tombstones are the most numerous. No less than 3/4 of all ancient Latin inscriptions belong to this type. Yes, and now I would like to show you some interesting inscriptions from Mustis. Here you I must add that all photos, all inscriptions are unpublished. Yes, you see new material from this Roman town. Yes. So first inscription you can see, it's a funerary tombstones of the men who lived in the early Roman Empire, and we can read: Dis manibus sacrum Caius Minucius Gaiulus Pius. It's the most popular epithet, especially in African epigraphy, but also in the Spanish. of epigraphy, yes, Spanish epigraphy. And we have he lived 55 years, yes. Nona ginta kwinkwe, hic situs est. Here is buried, yes, or like here is buried, yes. And this formula, this manibus sacrum, is very popular, and it means for the departed spirits, yes, for the departed spirits. Here we have, you know, a very interesting relief with the donkey and with the farmer of the trader, yes, from Mustis, and it is very interesting inscription. Next one is connected with the fertility of land, with the fertility of land, yes, because we have you know, we have two pigs on the left and on the right side, yes, and this is interesting inscription because this is inscription of women, perhaps priest women, yes, flaminica in Latin, or sacerdota, yes, and we could read DMS, this manibus sacrum, to the departed spirits, Vitellia, Luciphilia, the daughter of Lucius, Quartina, Pia, Vixit annis octaginta, so she lived 60s, yes. And the next very early inscription, because we have a lunar crescent in the upper part of the stone, and you see we have here very nice and very interesting name of this man. We have Felix Mandalio, yes. Felix, happy, is the most popular name of Roman slaves, yes, of Roman slaves, but also of peregrini. So so people who doesn't have a Roman, who don't have a Roman citizenship, yes. And we have Felix Mandalio. And what is interesting, Felix is a Roman name, but Mandalio is Numidian, yes. So here we have a very well example of a very nice example of romanization, of process of romanization, yes? And then we have the formula Pius Vixit annis sexaginta quinque. He lived 60 years. Here is buried hic situs est, yes. Next inscription is the dedication. You can see in the slide the dedication to Divus Hadrianus. Yes, to Divus Hadrianus, in Latin, Divo Hadriano Augusto, DDPP, it's abbreviation, and we can develop this follows Decreto Decurionum Pecunia Publica, yes, basing on the decurion's decree by public money, yes. So what is interesting, we could date this inscription precisely because Hadrianus died in 138. Yes, so this inscription must be founded after this time. Yes, so this is very interesting inscription, and the type of the stone, it is base of statue. Yes, so in the antiquity of Hadrianus must be in the upper part of this monument. Okay, and the last one, yes, because we don't have a time. The last one inscription is very interesting, I think, and it is inscription not from the early Roman Empire, but from the late Roman Empire. Yes, it is Miliarium. Yes, it is Miliarium. It's milestones. And this inscription is dated to the reign of Constantius II, the half of the 4th century. And in this inscription, we have the full name of the city. Yes, we could read Municipium Iulium Aurelium Mustitanum. Yes, Iulium Aurelium Mustitanum. These names are related to the laws, to the status, greater status of Municipium. Yes, which was given by Tiberius, and next laws given by somebody of Aureli. We don't know. Maybe Marcus Aurelius, but maybe Caracalla. He was also Aurelius. Yes, so it is very interesting. And the last formula, devotum numini majestaticque eius, devoted to his divine power. Divine power and his majesty. Yes, and the slide is presenting mosaics. Yes, Christian mosaics. So the real treasure of Mustis is not only inscriptions, but are also mosaics, coins, and other very interesting artifacts which are founded by my colleagues, my Tunisian and Polish colleagues who are excavating the city. Yes, and my project, which I must add, is funded by the Science Center in Poland. And the title is Reading African Palimpsest, the Dynamics of Urban and Rural Communities of Numidian and Roman Mustis, Afripal, yes. The director of this project is Professor Tomasz Waliszewski from the University of Warsaw. And what is interesting, I published 2 papers, important papers in German journal, prestigious German journal, Zeitschrift für Papyrologie und Epigraphik. And our last paper, Fulvius Paternus, a new primipilaris egregius vir from Mustis, Tunisia. You could read in my profile on Academia. Yes, so if somebody is more interested in this question or my research interest could read these 2 papers. And in the end, I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you very much to you, Karol.